The partner engagement survey results made no sense. According to the system, I'd rated Spencer Blackwood's performance as severely inadequate across every metric. I'm Desmond Remington, 42, project finance partner at our exclusive Birmingham office, 20 years building complex infrastructure deals. I'd never submitted any survey about Spencer, let alone one recommending his immediate termination. The email arrived at 6:47 a.m. on a Tuesday. Subject line: Annual Partner Evaluation. Final submission confirmed. My coffee went cold as I scrolled through responses I'd never written. Spencer's client management skills. Consistently fails to meet basic standards. His billable hour productivity. Well below partnership expectations. His ethical compliance requires immediate remediation. Every answer bore my digital signature. Every timestamp showed my workstation. Every comment reflected opinions I'd never held about a partner I genuinely respected. Spencer had mentored junior associates for 15 years. His infrastructure clients generated 30% of our annual revenue. The man had covered my cases during my father's funeral last spring without billing a single hour to my matters. I pulled up the firm's case management portal. My login history showed survey access at 11:43 p.m. the previous Friday. I'd been in Atlanta that night, closing a municipal bond deal. Hotel receipts, flight records, client dinner, all documented my location 300 miles away. Someone had used my credentials to destroy Spencer's career. The survey system required two-factor authentication. My phone showed no verification code sent Friday night. Yet somehow, my responses had been submitted with full security protocols intact. I checked Spencer's recent case files. 3 major clients had requested partner reassignments in the past month, all citing, quote, concerns about representation quality, all referencing specific incidents that matched the survey's damaging comments word for word. The pattern was too precise to be coincidental. My hands trembled as I scrolled through the evaluation portal's audit trail. 17 partners had submitted reviews. 16 showed normal response patterns. Varied timing, mixed ratings, balanced feedback. Mine stood alone in its systematic destruction of Spencer's reputation. The compliance department had already scheduled Spencer's performance review for Thursday. 2 days to figure out who had access to my credentials and why they wanted Spencer gone. I reached for my phone to call Spencer, then stopped. If someone was monitoring firm communications, a warning might make things worse. Better to investigate quietly first. The elevator chimed outside my office. Footsteps approached in the hallway. Measured. Deliberate. I minimized the survey window and opened a client file, trying to look busy. A soft knock interrupted my thoughts. "Come in," I called, closing the laptop screen halfway. Anastasia Pinehurst stepped through the doorway. Our compliance auditor carried a thick manila folder and wore the expression of someone delivering bad news. She joined the firm 18 months ago from a Big Four accounting background, bringing systematic approaches to our previously informal oversight processes. "Desmond, do you have a few minutes? I need to discuss some irregularities I've found." My pulse quickened. "Of course. Please sit down." She settled into the chair across from my desk, opening the folder with practiced efficiency. "I've been conducting routine audits of our partner evaluation system. There are some concerning patterns in recent submissions." I kept my expression neutral. "What kind of patterns?" "Timing anomalies, primarily. Several evaluations were submitted during periods when the reviewing partners were documented as being out of state." She pulled out a printed report. "Your submission regarding Spencer Whitmore, for instance, filed at 11:43 p.m. last Friday while you were in Atlanta." The directness caught me off guard. I'd expected to uncover this information myself, not have it presented by the person responsible for system oversight. "That's impossible," I said carefully. "I was closing the municipal bond deal that night, didn't return until Saturday afternoon." Anastasia nodded, making a note. "That's what I suspected." Your travel records confirm you were 300 miles away. Yet the system shows your credentials were used to access and complete Spencer's evaluation. She was either genuinely investigating the breach or testing my reaction. I chose transparency. I discovered the same thing this morning. Someone used my login to submit responses I never wrote. The comments were particularly damaging. Nothing I would ever say about Spencer. Can you think of anyone who might have access to your credentials? I considered the question. The IT department, obviously. Senior partners with administrative privileges. Anyone with physical access to my office if I'd left my computer unlocked, which I never do. Anastasia flipped through several pages. I've identified similar irregularities with 3 other partner evaluations, all submitted during times when the supposed reviewers were traveling or in court, all containing unusually harsh assessments. Who were the other targets? Spencer Whitmore, obviously. Also Anastasia Clearwater from litigation and Spencer Blackwood from corporate. All 3 have been with the firm for over a decade. All 3 generate significant revenue. The pattern was becoming clearer. Someone was systematically targeting established partners, using fabricated evaluations to undermine their standing within the firm. Have you reported this to the executive committee? Not yet. I wanted to gather more first. She closed the folder. I was hoping you might help me trace how these breaches occurred. I studied her face, searching for deception. Anastasia had always been thorough in her compliance work, sometimes annoyingly so. She'd caught billing irregularities that other auditors missed, implemented security protocols that prevented client data breaches. Her reputation for integrity was spotless, but someone with system access had orchestrated this attack. Someone who understood our evaluation process intimately. What do you need from me? Access to your computer and phone. I want to check for malware or unauthorized remote access software. Also, I'll need a detailed timeline of your activities last Friday. I handed over my phone and turned my laptop toward her. Everything's there. Flight confirmations, hotel receipts, client dinner records. She connected a USB device to my laptop and began running diagnostic software. This will take about 20 minutes. The scan checks for keyloggers, remote access tools, credential harvesting programs. While the scan ran, I provided a minute-by-minute account of Friday evening. Client dinner at 7 p.m., hotel bar until 10 p.m. with opposing counsel. In my room by 10:30 p.m., reviewing documents until midnight. No one else had access to your devices? None. My laptop stayed in my hotel room. Phone never left my possession. The diagnostic completed with no malicious software detected. Anastasia frowned at the results. Your devices are clean, which means someone either cloned your credentials or accessed the system through administrative privileges. Who has that level of access? The IT director, the managing partner, and... She paused, checking her notes. The compliance auditor. Me. The admission hung between us. Either she was being remarkably transparent about her own capabilities, or she was deflecting suspicion by acknowledging the obvious. I need to check the server logs, she continued. See if I can trace the actual source of these submissions. But I'll need executive committee approval for that level of system access. I can arrange that. Spencer's review is scheduled for Thursday. We need answers before then. Anastasia gathered her materials. I'll have preliminary findings by tomorrow afternoon. In the meantime, change all your passwords and enable additional security measures. After she left, I sat alone with growing. The investigation felt too convenient, too perfectly timed. Someone had used my credentials to destroy Spencer's reputation, and now the person responsible for discovering that breach was offering to help solve it. I pulled up Spencer's client files again, looking for additional patterns. 3 major clients had requested partner reassignments in recent weeks, all citing concerns that matched the fabricated evaluation comments exactly. The phone rang. Spencer's name appeared on the caller ID. Desmond, I need to talk to you. Something's happening with my clients, and I think it's connected to the upcoming review. Can you come to my office? I'm in the parking garage. Be right up. Spencer arrived looking haggard. Dark circles under his eyes suggested he hadn't slept well recently. 3 clients have requested new representation in the past month, he said without preamble, all citing the same concerns: missed deadlines, poor communication, Inadequate preparation. None of it's true. Have you seen the specific complaints? That's the strange part. The clients won't provide details. They just reference, quote, feedback from firm evaluations, and insist on immediate reassignment. I leaned back in my chair. Spencer, I need to tell you something. Someone used my credentials to submit a damaging evaluation about your performance. I was in Atlanta when it was filed. His face went pale. You think someone's orchestrating this? I'm certain of it. The question is who and why. Spencer began pacing. I've been here 15 years. My billable hours are solid. Client satisfaction scores are excellent. Revenue generation is top tier. Why would anyone want me gone? Maybe it's not personal. Maybe you're just the first target. I told him about the other compromised evaluations Anastasia had discovered. Spencer stopped pacing. 3 senior partners, all with established client bases, all generating significant revenue. He turned to face me. Someone's trying to force out the firm's most valuable assets. But why? Think about it. If senior partners leave, their clients might follow. If enough clients leave, the firm's value drops significantly. Perfect setup for a hostile acquisition or internal coup. The theory made sense. Remove key revenue generators, destabilize the partnership, create an opportunity for someone to seize control at a reduced price. We need to warn the others, Spencer said. Not yet. If we're right about this being a systematic attack, the person behind it is monitoring firm communications. We need proof first. Spencer nodded grimly. What do you suggest? Let me work with Anastasia on the technical investigation. You focus on documenting your client relationships and performance metrics. If this goes to the executive committee, we need overwhelming. And if the committee is compromised? I hadn't considered that possibility. If someone was planning a takeover, they'd need allies in leadership positions. Then we go to the Bar Association, file a formal complaint about credential theft and evaluation fraud. Spencer left with a plan to discreetly gather. I returned to my computer, pulling up the firm's organizational chart. 37 partners, 12 associates, 15 support staff. Someone in this building had orchestrated an elaborate scheme to destroy careers and manipulate firm politics. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Stop investigating, or Spencer won't be the only one affected. I stared at the message, feeling the first real chill of fear. Someone was watching my activities closely enough to know about my conversation with Spencer. Someone with access to firm communications and the willingness to make threats. I paid their CLE fees when they were in a bind. Now someone was using that same system of mutual support to tear the partnership apart from within. The betrayal was deeper than stolen credentials or fabricated evaluations. Someone I trusted had been planning this for months, systematically gathering information and access needed to destroy everything we'd built. The threatening text changed everything. This wasn't just about fabricated evaluations anymore. Someone was actively monitoring my investigation and willing to escalate. I forwarded the message to Anastasia immediately, then called an emergency meeting in Conference Room C. The smallest room, no windows, harder to monitor electronically. Anastasia arrived first, laptop bag slung over her shoulder. I've been digging deeper into the access logs. You're not going to like what I found. Spencer entered looking haggard. 3 more partners received negative evaluation notices this morning, all top billers. All clients expressing sudden concerns about representation quality. Show me the logs first, I said to Anastasia. She opened her laptop, pulling up a complex spreadsheet. The credential theft wasn't random. Someone accessed the evaluation system using administrative privileges, not stolen passwords. They had legitimate access. My stomach dropped. Internal access? Has to be. The timestamps show after-hours activity, but the access codes are clean. No forced entry, no password cracking. Someone with proper authorization submitted those false evaluations. Spencer leaned. Who has administrative access to the evaluation system? Partners, obviously. The IT director. And Anastasia paused, checking her notes. The compliance auditor. They need access to review evaluation integrity for Bar Association reporting. The pieces clicked together with sickening clarity. Anastasia Pinehurst, our compliance auditor. The person responsible for ensuring ethical standards and evaluation accuracy. The one person who could manipulate the system without triggering security alerts. How long has she had this access? I asked. Since she started 18 months ago. But the suspicious activity only began 6 months ago, right after the executive committee announced the new profit-sharing structure. The timing made perfect sense. The new structure heavily favored top billing partners. If someone wanted to redistribute power and profits, eliminating the highest performers would be the most effective strategy. We need to confront her directly, Spencer said. Not yet. If she's willing to send threatening texts, she might destroy if cornered. We need everything documented first. I spent the next hour crafting a careful strategy. Anastasia would continue monitoring system access while appearing to investigate the evaluation discrepancies normally. Spencer would document his client relationships and gather statements about the sudden complaints. I would handle the legal framework for whatever came next. At 4:30 p.m., I received a call from the Legal Standards Enforcement Bureau. Fraud Case Liaison Caitlin Murphy's voice was crisp and professional. Mr. Remington, we've received a formal complaint about evaluation fraud at your firm. I need to schedule interviews with affected partners and review your compliance systems. Of course, when would be convenient? Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. I'll need access to your evaluation database and any related documentation. After hanging up, I realized the investigation was accelerating beyond our control. Someone had filed a complaint with the Bar Association, forcing external scrutiny. Either Anastasia Pinehurst was trying to get ahead of our investigation, or another player was involved. I called an immediate partner meeting for 6 p.m. mandatory attendance. The conference room filled slowly. 37 partners, various levels of concern and confusion. Anastasia Pinehurst sat in her usual spot, taking notes on a legal pad. Her expression showed appropriate professional concern. We have a serious situation, I began. Multiple partners have received questionable evaluation notices. The Bar Association is investigating. We need full transparency about our compliance systems. Several partners shifted uncomfortably. Spencer caught my eye and nodded slightly. Anastasia, can you walk us through the evaluation process? Specifically, who has access to submit or modify assessments? She stood smoothly, consulting her notes. The system has 3 access levels. Partners can submit peer evaluations. IT maintains the technical infrastructure. And my office handles compliance verification and Bar Association reporting. Have you noticed any irregularities recently? Actually, yes. I've been investigating several concerning patterns. Evaluations that don't match historical performance data. Client complaints that seem coordinated. I was planning to present my findings to the executive committee next week. Her performance was flawless. Concerned compliance officer discovering problems, preparing to report through proper channels. If I hadn't seen the access logs myself, I would have believed her completely. What kind of patterns? Asked Spencer. Systematic targeting of high-billing partners. Evaluations submitted using proper credentials, but containing information that contradicts documented performance metrics. Someone with administrative access has been manipulating the system. The room erupted in concerned murmurs. Partners demanding explanations, questioning security protocols, expressing outrage about potential sabotage. Anastasia continued. I've identified the source of the unauthorized access. The activity traces back to administrative credentials that were compromised approximately 6 months ago. She was setting up a cover story, blaming compromised credentials instead of legitimate access, creating plausible deniability while appearing to solve the problem. Which credentials? I asked. Mine, unfortunately. Someone has been using my access codes to submit false evaluations. I discovered it yesterday during routine security auditing. Perfect. She was positioning herself as another victim while maintaining the ability to claim any against her was fabricated by the real perpetrator. Have you reported this to law enforcement? Spencer asked. I plan to coordinate with the Bar Association investigation first. We need to determine the full scope before involving criminal authorities. The meeting continued for another hour. Partners expressing concern, demanding action. questioning firm security. Anastasia played her role perfectly, the dedicated compliance officer working to protect the partnership from external threats. After the meeting, I cornered Spencer and Anastasia in my office. "We have a problem," I said. "The access logs show legitimate credentials, not compromised ones. Someone with proper authorization has been manipulating evaluations for months." Anastasia frowned, reviewing her laptop screen. "That's impossible. My security audit clearly shows unauthorized access patterns." "Show me." She turned her laptop toward us, displaying a different set of logs than what we'd reviewed earlier. Clean access patterns, normal timestamps, no suspicious activity. "These aren't the same logs you showed me this morning," I said. "I ran a more comprehensive audit this afternoon. The earlier data was incomplete." Spencer looked confused. "So there was no unauthorized access?" "There was definitely unauthorized access," I said firmly, "but not using compromised credentials. Someone with legitimate administrative privileges has been submitting false evaluations." Anastasia's expression shifted slightly. The concerned compliance officer mask slipped for just a moment, revealing something colder underneath. "Are you suggesting I've been manipulating evaluations?" she asked. "I'm suggesting someone with your level of access has been systematically targeting top billing partners. The question is whether you're investigating it or orchestrating it." The silence stretched uncomfortably. Spencer looked between us, sensing but not understanding the full implications. "I think we should wait for the Bar Association investigation," Anastasia said finally. "Let external authorities determine what happened." "No," I replied. "We're going to determine what happened right now." I opened my laptop, pulling up the original access logs Anastasia had shown me that morning. The files were gone. Deleted from the shared drive, no backup copies available. "Where are the logs you showed me earlier?" "I don't know what you mean. These are the only logs I've generated." She was covering her tracks in real time, deleting while maintaining plausible deniability, but she'd made one crucial mistake. I pulled out my phone, opening the photos I'd taken of her screen that morning. Clear images of the suspicious access patterns, timestamps showing after-hours activity, administrative credentials being used to submit false evaluations. "Explain these," I said, showing her the photos. Anastasia stared at the images, her professional composure finally cracking. "Those could be fabricated. Digital is easily manipulated." "Not when it's photographed directly from your screen during our meeting this morning." Spencer was there, he saw the same data. Spencer nodded slowly, understanding dawning on his face. "You showed us of your own unauthorized access. Then you deleted it and claimed the credentials were compromised. This is ridiculous," Anastasia said, but her voice lacked conviction. "Why would I sabotage my own firm?" "Because you're not sabotaging it," I replied. "You're positioning it for acquisition. Remove the top billers, destabilize the partnership, create an opportunity for someone to purchase the firm at a reduced price." Her silence confirmed everything: the systematic targeting, the coordinated client complaints, the manipulation of evaluation data. All designed to weaken the firm's position and create an acquisition opportunity. "Who's backing you?" Spencer asked. Anastasia gathered her laptop and notes, standing to leave. "I think this conversation is over. I'll be cooperating fully with the Bar Association investigation." "No," I said. "This conversation is just beginning. Tomorrow morning when Caitlin Murphy arrives, she's going to see every piece of we've gathered, including the photos of your original access logs and the threatening text you sent me." For the first time, real fear flickered across her face. "I never sent any text. The phone records will determine that, along with your access logs, the deleted files, and the systematic pattern of false evaluations targeting specific partners." She left without another word, but the damage was done. The conspiracy was exposed, documented, and the Bar Association investigation would handle the rest. But as I watched her walk away, I realized the real fight was just beginning.